Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts One Piece Marshall D. Teach, aka Blackbeard. Maybe the main guy, the main bad guy in One Piece. We'll have to see once it finally ends, but I think maybe. I think that's probably my guess. This is the Four Emperors version of this guy, and thanks to Big Bad Toy Store, they provided me a sample of this thing so I could get it reviewed for you guys early. I will be reviewing it as honestly as I review everything, though. I told them very clearly up front, I'm not just for this figure, but for all the figures they provide for me, if they do. I'm never going to change my review based on if I get a review sample or not or whatever. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. We don't care. We don't make the figures. So do whatever you want. And that's what I'm going to do. And I've reviewed lots of things poorly, even though I've gotten review samples. You guys know you can trust me at this point. And I think it'll be obvious by the time I'm done. I'm done with this. Although I have to say, for this One Piece line, it's a very low bar. So we'll see how it goes. But this guy does do some things pretty darn well. So we're going to talk about all of that. But let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do have to show you my package. It's a big one, and it's a good looking one, and I love that they actually moved the figure over so you could freaking see it. Half the time when Bandai's doing this, they put the figure behind the cardboard part. They didn't do that here, so that's nice. Black and white photo up there. Main photo there, figure, front and center for the window. Yeah, good looking package. The One Piece packaging is usually pretty good. You get that. We'll talk about that later. This part's okay. I don't like that they put the accessory on the side. Like, we're not buying this in the store. You don't have to do that. If people want to display it, they don't need that there probably. They didn't do much here. And doing this, like, variable action heroes included this effect part for Whitebeard. And to have that there, even though it's not a real thing on the figure, that's kind of annoying, frankly. I don't like photoshopped images on my packaging. That's super irritating. But the figure is visible there. And on the side, it's a decent enough package. So that's it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Okay, so here we go. I want to just do a quick question of the day right away. If you had to pick between Whitebeard or Blackbeard, I want to do two questions. Which one would you pick? And then, as far as Blackbeard goes, which look do you prefer more? This one with the yellow car wash mitt on his back, or the one where he's just got the coat hanging over his shoulders? I don't like the furry thing as much, but I like this design overall much more than the other one, so I'd probably have to go with this one in terms of character design. Maybe not, maybe not for the figure. We'll get to that. All right, he stands to the top of his head to the top of everything, about 24 centimeters, to the top of where his head would be about 20.2, something like that for scaling purposes. And that's going to make him just about, we'll say to the top of his head, 8 inches, to the top of everything about 9.5, give or take. Here he is up against a Marvel Legends Darwin, so he has some serious size to him. He is super expensive, by the way. We're going to address that. But he's got some size to him, and I'll get a Luffy out. I don't know where my opened package Luffy is. He's somewhere around. Yes, I have not set up my display shelves, okay? I know. It's been a long time. I've been busy. Oh, I have this one opened. Hey, I grabbed the open one on accident. Alright, I thought this was a sealed one. So there's Luffy. I didn't realize it. I would have taken him out if I knew. Oh, that was close. I would have taken him out if I knew it was the open one. But you can see his feet. He's got some size. Alright, okay. Good enough. I don't think anybody's really worried about the scaling on One Piece, given the incredible inconsistency in the anime, and probably the manga. Alright, let's talk about this guy. As far as aesthetics go, I don't know what his price point is. I'll put it on the screen. I know it's a buttload. It's a ton. He's very, very, very expensive. And he is big, so I'll give them some credit there. But I don't know. But I will say this. I'll be totally fair. There's a lot going on aesthetically, and the paint job is superb. His belly hair, it's not like the best detailed. It's very One Piece styled. But he is covered in paint down here. He looks nice. The pants, that's a flawless execution for those little flower marks on there. They are perfectly opaque. There's no issue with them other than they're not on the back of the knee joint. Otherwise, they wrap all the way around the legs. They are well spaced. They're very clean. The paint job on here, not perfect. It's hard to paint white. I'll give it to him that it's opaque, but the lining isn't perfect. The other details on the figure, like the little buttons and things, very nicely done. You get more of the paint on here. Like, this guy's paint job is what we should have seen for the Dragon guy when they didn't paint everything. But it's really, really well done. And his rings alone are very nicely done. Like, there's a lot to look at this guy and appreciate. It's very, very clean, very nice. His face, his hat, It's a good looking figure. So I'll just put this out there right now. It's one of those situations where, yes, it is overpriced for sure. But you will have stuff to appreciate and just be like, yeah, it's overpriced, but I like it. It's not one of those figures where it's overpriced because it's bad. It's overpriced because they charge too much, but it's still good enough. But that leads me to my next point. You guys, you know, a lot of people have complained about the plastic capes and things, especially in the One Piece line. And you got what you wanted. We actually have a car wash mitt for a cape. And I get it. It's supposed to look like this right here. This is plastic. It's supposed to look like this. And as far as an actual cloth thing goes, I don't know how they could do any better. It is not for me. I hate it. It's wired, so you can bend it. There's a heavy wire going all the way around, but not everywhere. And we'll just talk about this now. Get it out of the way. We have the Velcro that connects it. The collar part is not wired. And so that just looks like a big poof of crap. Not literally, like it doesn't look good. So you get it wired around the shoulders and that's fine, that's better than nothing, but it's not, it actually is a car wash mitt, like almost literally. If there was an opening, I could wash my car with this. It looks exactly like a car wash mitt, and I don't like that. I know some of you are going to prefer it, and it's nice for weight purposes, but they make light plastics that aren't too heavy, and they could have sculpted it, and it might have just hung there, but that's basically what this thing's going to freaking do anyway. I want it sculpted. I can't abide the car wash mitt, and for something like this, they don't have a choice. It's not even their fault. They're trying to give you guys what you want. I say you guys because I specifically don't want this. No, a regular cape, sure, but not this. Not like this, to quote the Matrix. This is not... I can't. And I guess it's okay if you stick it on a shelf and don't look at it, but it doesn't fit the figure. I mean, it doesn't match. It's so visually jarring to have a car. I probably won't even, in my shelf, I'll probably just display him like this, as much as that bothers me because he's supposed to have the big yellow thing. I don't know, guys. I want to know what you think, because I know a lot of you are way more into soft goods than I am. Although I am fine with them as capes in general, so I think this is a fair assessment. This is not the way to do it, if you ask me. But I'm very curious what you guys think. So, aesthetically speaking, it's gorgeous. The sculpt is great. The paints are great. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's really, really, really nice. High quality looking figure. It's going to be super displayable on a shelf until you look at the car wash mitt. So I'll do 2 ratings. Without the car wash mitt, this is like, given the price, it's still like a 9 out of 10. It looks pretty damn good. Even for being super expensive, it's really nice. You could have more shading and stuff, sure, that's why it's not a 10, but it looks nice. But if you count that car wash mitt, like, you can't... man, I spent a little bit of time with it trying to make it look extra good even, and I just can't make it look the way I would want it to look. I'm gonna go like 7 at best, because the main figure still looks good, but it is literally, I can't express this enough as clearly as I possibly can make it. I have to say, it looks like a car wash mitt. It may be the exact same thing, frankly. Like, somebody designing this was just like, what do we do? And the other guy was washing his car and talking to him on the phone. He was like, I have an idea. And that was it. It's nuts. At least it looks good otherwise. So yeah, okay, that's the aesthetic. Let's talk about the accessories. They're not a ton. You get his guns, but they just go in his belt, so those don't count. So for hands, you get a decent spread of hands, and they all have the rings painted on them, which obviously, but still, that costs something. And they're really well done. Like, I was not expecting them to be that nice looking. So credit where it's due, those look great. And the hand sculpts are pretty good too. You get a few interchangeable faces. They're not hugely different or necessary, I suppose. Is that even different? Did I get 2 of the same thing? No, they're a little bit different. They're so similar. So there's that. Okay, and then you get a Luffy face for Gear 5, the Cloud one that was really poorly executed, so that's a throwaway for me. And then you get a little display stand. Now this is something I actually want to talk about. This is like a crotch support piece for him, and that's fine, except it's not really necessary. It's basically just for when he's standing, because it's not really adjustable at all. Like, it's not adjustable. I shouldn't say it's not really. It's not adjustable. And it's fine. Like, if you just want to prevent a shelf dive, sure, go ahead and stick it under his crotch. But he stands just fine on his own. So, again, credit where it's due. They did a good job. There's a little bit of looseness. Not really, but for his size, there's a little bit of looseness here and there. But his ankles are rock solid. So I think you'll be okay. But you do get the stand. So as far as accessories go, I mean, for the price point, 6 out of 10. at best, because you should have an effect part like the one I mentioned on the box. This one, I'll get a screenshot from my, because I don't know where it is right now to show you in person, but the Variable Action Heroes version of this accessory is freaking cool, and they could have easily included that at a stupid high price point with our ShamWow. It's not a ShamWow, but whatever it is. Okay, let's talk about the articulation on this guy. Like I said, this is wired. It is wired around the top, around here, but not the top part here. So you will be able to, you'll be able to make it fit him, kind of, but like, it's so thick and fluffy that even when you do shape it properly, you can't tell. So we'll just set that aside. It doesn't really do much good. I guess we'll get the coat out of the way first. For articulation, you get a ball hinge here, and a ball hinge here, and a ball hinge here. It's fine. There's not much of a better way to do it, I guess. And it'll work well enough. There's enough overlap that it's not like super gappy or anything. And if you wanted to pose him, you can make it work. But it is clumsy. Like, there's not much of a way around it for a big coat like this, unless they're going to do all cloth, which maybe they should have just committed to that for the jacket and the cape. But if you want it to be plastic, then this is what you're going to get, and it's well enough done. It is a hard piece, relatively speaking, at the top, and even these are hard pieces. They're not super flexible at all. So, yeah, you're pretty stuck with the jacket, unfortunately. Now for the head, the beard is on a hinge. It pops off really easily because they want you to swap the beard with the alternate heads to save them money, which sucks, especially given the price point. And it's not super useful because, like, it doesn't look that good, and it's only helpful when he goes like this, a little bit down. So I think I would have preferred they just have one solid piece and spend the extra money on the plastic and paint. So don't like that at all. But the head is on ball pegs, and it moves around as much as it can, but like, you have a bunch of crap here with the collar and the hat, and so like, it's technically fine, but also kind of worthless. And this piece being able to move around doesn't, I don't think that adds a whole lot. Like, it's something, but I don't know. Am I missing anything else up here? I don't think so. So the head's technically articulated well enough, but there's just too much plastic going everywhere. Now here's the thing that really, really, really bothers me, especially at this price point, because what they've done is they've decided it looks good like that. And if you rotate his arm forward in the right way, it'll look good like that too. It'll look good enough. They gave him his coat, and it looks okay like that. But what they did was basically a Revoltech joint. It's a big ball peg with a ball hinge. I can't even show it to you properly. There you go. I guess I can. Alright, let's zoom in. It's a ball hinge here and a ball hinge here. It is almost literally a Revoltech style joint, which looks like absolute garbage and totally unnecessary. Just put a big ass ball hinge right here. That's it. That's it. That's all they had to do. Just put a big ball hinge in there and you'd have been set. But instead they have this, which it helps to bring the arm forward and down. But that is it. I guess you could go straight up probably with it. Well, no, because he's triangle shaped, so it's not going to work. Yeah, that joint is just almost never good. It's not even really good for Revoltech, but they make it work given their particular styling. But it's not the way to do this. Is it going to absolutely destroy the figure? No, because he's wearing a coat and probably not going to be posed that much anyway. But it certainly could have been way better, and they're just really going to town with the over-engineering lately, so that's a bummer. You do get a bicep swivel, but it's a basic cut that looks like ugly, ugly crap. Because this is an expensive figure in 2025, we are able to do better now. Hide the joint in a wrinkle. A little bit. At least try. Alright, for our double jointed elbow, he still only ends up getting about 90 degrees. Just a touch better. So that's not very good either. And then for the wrist, it's a big old ball hinge. That's fine. The hands pop off too easily, though. They're not like a problem because you don't have anything to do with them. He doesn't hold stuff. But they're not good. Alright, and then for the torso, you definitely get your rotation out of both the top and the bottom, under the boobs and at the belly. So you can rotate him to pose him. That'll help. As far as leaning forward and back, because the coat is hard plastic and comes down so far, you're not really doing a whole lot. Like, you can lean him forward, so that's okay. Most of that's happening at the bottom, but there's some at the top too. You can lean him forward, but you're definitely not going back. So, this guy is definitely not one that's going to get posed a lot. And I'm guessing most people wouldn't want to do that anyway, and Bandai probably considered that. but at this price point, it should be able to. So the price point's a factor. That's why a lot of people say, why do you keep repeating something? Well, first of all, people jump around in videos and they don't have the context of the entire video. But also, every part of the video is influenced by other parts of the video, so I have to repeat things. Now, the hips work pretty well. They're not as tight as they could be, but they're okay. It's kind of a unique joint. There's a big steel rod in there with a hinge all the way over. Doesn't really matter. They go pretty far out. Under the circumstances, he can almost do the splits. So under the circumstances, he's pretty well articulated. I think that joint should be a little tighter, but it's not too loose. I guess probably yours may vary. Going forward, it works surprisingly well. He gets up to basically horizontal, and that all happens like inside his fat. So it works fine. I'm actually pretty pleased with the hip joint. The way they've designed it, it's perfectly adequate. The thigh swivel could be a little tighter, but it's not bad. It doesn't hinge or anything, or have a ball peg. It's just a swivel. It's a little off-center, so that's weird, but it's there. And then your double-jointed knee, they even painted the flowers on the inside of the knee, but he doesn't have tons of range. It's just about 90 degrees. So, again, pretty limited. Does it really matter? Probably not, but we're going to review it, so it matters in that sense. Okay, and then for the ankle, I don't think it rotates up here. Mine doesn't seem to want to, but you get a ball hinge. And this is what I was talking about earlier. That ball hinge is freaking tight. It's almost a little bit scary, but it's good because he's not going to fall. So that's okay. But the foot goes back pretty far, goes forward all the way too. So that's really, really nice. And of course, you can rotate it around, and the rotation's not super stiff, but you get your ankle rocker out of it as a result. So that's good. And then the toe hinge. It's not bad. For a big guy like this, you don't want it to be like a big fall hazard. They did a pretty good job. It's a smooth one. Like there's a little lip here, but tiny, tiny lip. It's not a bad design for the toe hinge. For a big chunker like this, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. It works pretty well, so I'll give that to him too. So, the articulation on this guy, is it as good as it could be? No. Especially given that he's pretty expensive. But given the character design, I think it's a reasonable enough set of articulation. Like, you're not going to be in love with it, you're not putting him in any crazy poses, but for what he is, I think you'll probably, practically speaking, you'll probably be pleased enough. Now, this is a review, and it's not good articulation overall, so he's only going to get a 6 out of 10. But for the character, and practically speaking, I think you'll be fine. Okay, so you can decide what you care about more or less on your own. That's the way I'm looking at it. Now it's time for the final verdict on this guy. I think the biggest problem for this guy, other than he costs too damn much, is the car wash mitt. Otherwise, it's a pretty good looking, like, it's a really good looking figure. It probably poses well enough to get by. And so I think it's probably up there as one of the better one-piece figures. That's not saying a ton because most of them have been terrible, but it's certainly not the worst. I'm guessing you'll be able to get it for a lot less than retail at some point, because I'm guessing a lot of people aren't going to be paying retail for it, at least up front, that maybe they're going to wait, I don't know, but it's a really expensive one. So you may want to do that, but I'll tell you, it's not bad. It's definitely overpriced, but you will not be like, I hate this figure, I wish I never bought it. You'll just be like, I wish I didn't have to pay as much for it. It's probably good enough. So I'm going to give it an overall rating of 7 out of 10. It's fine. All things considered, it is fine. There's lots that I would change, but there's lots that I really, really like about it, and so I'm going to leave it at 7. I'm curious what you guys think. This is a pretty interesting one, and we'll talk in the comment section below. But that's it for me, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.